What's up YouTube, this is DWS Darius and this is going to be another episode of Amazing Fish, and today's amazing fish is the Butterkorei Tilapia Cichlid. Okay YouTube, so right now you're looking at my 125-gallon mixed tropical aquarium housing different fish for different purposes. Some of the fish in this tank are just in there temporarily, while others are growing out in this tank. But the fish that I would like to point out is my Butterkorei Tilapia Cichlid, also known as the zebra tilapia cichlid, which is this 10-inch fish right in front of you. This is definitely a very beautiful fish when it wants to be, and it also shows just tons of personality, making this fish very awesome. So first off, I love this fish because just the colors that this fish can show when it wants to show color. Now this fish is very moody, so a lot of times you can find it showing different colors based on his mood. I find that with mine, when this fish is in a dominant mode, when he's feeling confident, he shows his stripe pattern as you see right here. And then when this fish is shy or just uncomfortable, a lot of times he's just gray, which is, if you see that darker pattern right here, his whole body is that color. So that's one of the things I love about this fish. You can really tell how this fish is feeling based upon his appearance. Another thing that I love about this fish is just his personality. This is a fish that has a strong personality. Now a lot of times that personality is seen in this aggression, so you got to be careful when it comes to setting up a tank for this fish. A lot of times it's best to keep these fish either solo or with fish that can handle their aggression. But I love their personality. These fish just are so moody. Sometimes when I do water changes, this fish attacks me. Sometimes he comes peacefully as if to peck food off my fingers. So I just love just the personality of this fish. Is overall a very entertaining fish to keep. Okay, so a lot of times when you see the Butterkorei cichlid, you can find them in tanks with Central and South American cichlids because they're very similar in terms of size, aggression, and just overall care. However, these are actually African cichlids coming from West Africa. Now, don't get them mixed up with your Great Rift Lake African cichlids, which are your cichlids coming from Lake Malawi, Lake Victoria, Lake Tanganyika. These fish don't tolerate that higher pH, these Butterkorei that is. They don't tolerate the higher pH as those other Rift Lake cichlids, and they also don't do the mouth brooding and just that overall lifestyle of the other cichlids. They're not really set for that lifestyle. So a lot of times, from my experience, it's best to keep these with Central and South American cichlids if you are to keep them with tank mates. As I said before, these fish show just so many different personalities. Sometimes it's just best to keep them solo. Okay, so if you take a look at my fish right here, and if you look at some of the other Butterkorei that you see on the internet, you can easily tell that these are not small fish. They can reach a pretty monstrous size. Mine is about 10 inches, and I assume that mine is a female. That's another thing to consider. These fish are generally hard to sex because males and females look the same. So what you could do is either vent them or buy them as juveniles and wait for them to pair off. I assume that mine is a female only based on behavior and based on the way it acted when I kept it with my male Midas cichlid. So I'm going to assume that mine is a female, and mine is 10 inches as a female, and usually males get larger than females. And I've read some posts on the internet that these fish have been seen at sizes of 16 inches. So these are definitely some monster fish. So that's another thing to consider if you want to keep these fish. Such a big fish with such a temperament is definitely something you want to consider. These fish are moody, so you definitely need a large tank. I recommend the biggest you can possibly do. However, the minimum should be at least 90 gallons because these fish do get very large and very quickly. This fish is only 2 years old and it's 10 inches and it's been this big size after that first year. So in the first year it does all his growth, well, the majority of his growth. So you definitely need a decent sized tank for this fish. Okay YouTube, so now I'm going to leave you guys with some quick care tips for the Butterkorei Tilapia cichlid. So when you go to your local fish store and see these as juveniles, they will be very small, very tiny. They're going to show some awesome colorations as juveniles, and a lot of times they're going to look pretty harmless, but you definitely want to consider the latter end of keeping these fish. These fish will grow into monsters as far as size. They will lose some of that coloration that you see as juveniles, and they will become very personable, pick up a huge personality, which a lot of times will be very aggressive. I'm a little distracted because I got Charlie down here, but yeah, they will become very aggressive. So those are things you definitely want to consider. As far as tank size, these fish I recommend a minimum of 90 gallons. However, bigger is always better when it comes to tank mates. A lot of times it's best to keep the Butterkorei solo because they're just so mean. However, if you do want to try keeping these fish with other cichlids of similar size, it's best to introduce these fish a little bit smaller compared to the rest That way they can be at the bottom of the hierarchy, because if these fish are at the top, a lot of times they will wreak havoc. So always consider that when feeding these fish. These fish are not too demanding, but just remember that the quality of fish food you show is going to affect the quality of color that your fish shows. I feed mine Cichlid, massive for delight, and it tends to show a pretty decent stripe pattern for his age. Usually as adults they tend to be completely gray, and with the feeding that I'm doing, he still shows the B pattern when he wants to. But overall, the Butterkorei cichlid is not a hard fish to take care of. They're very easy to take care of. They're just very aggressive. So YouTube, that has been a look at the Butterkorei tilapia cichlid. As always, if you have any questions or comments concerning this fish, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you check out the Amazing Fish playlist. And that will be all.